What's up, guys? It's Parker Birch here. Um, just doing another, I guess, entry. You know, little journal entry and things of that nature. Just things that was going on in my head and things that are going on in my life. It's about to be New Year's, right? Pretty lit. I think it's New Year's Eve. I gotta check, but it's just, like I said, it's late as hell. But today I just really wanted to talk about something that I have went through personally, and that is like how women, or I guess my anger towards women in the past has been it's been completely mistaken, right? And it's taken me this long to I mean, like, if you look on my podcast, right, the Birds Relations podcast, if you look at the first few episodes, man, I mean, you could just tell that I was just every other red pill manosphere kind of guy just talking out my ass. And it's taken me this long to realize that, like, yo, like, I was completely wrong. Like, I had the wrong idea about everything. And I want to talk about like how women they aren't the enemy, guys. Women aren't the enemy. All right. I'm not gonna lie to you. If ain't like they ain't do shit. You know what I'm saying? They hear about, I could tell from, I feel for some of these girls. They look at some of these rebel podcasts and they be like, damn, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna get right into it, right? Because I really want to get in depth with this. This won't take long. This is gonna be a quick one. But this is a reality check for the manosphere. Okay. In modern culture, especially in the manosphere, you know what I'm saying? There is a growing narrative that women are the problem, right? That women are the obstacle, that men are losing because women are winning, which is just crazy to me. And while I understand where the frustration comes from, trust me, I've been there, guys. Trust me. That conclusion is completely false. It is wrong. And not only that, it is very destructive. Okay. Women are not the enemy. Okay. Confusion is the enemy. All right. Misdirected anger is the enemy. And more importantly, the systems that profit from keeping us men isolated, resentful, and reactive, that is the real issue here. That is the real enemy. It's the system. Now, here's the reality of all this, right? Modern dating, work, and social structures have changed rapidly in the last few decades, right? It's changing so fast, we can barely keep up. I'm 24 years old and I'm already like, yo, bro, like, what is it gonna be? Come on. But yeah, expect like all the expectations, they have shifted faster than any of us could prepare for, right? Traditional roles have completely just dissolved without clear replacements. Many men were told to just adapt without guidance, mentorship, or honest conversation. And that's going to create resentment, right? When you have a society to where the men are staying the same and women are getting more progressive over the years, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a huge divide here, right? And that's going to create resentment. It's going to create confusion, and when people are confused, they look for someone to blame most of the time. And this is when the manosphere often hands men a convenient target, and that's women. Okay. But blaming women for cultural change, honestly, is like blaming passengers for the direction of a train, right? Women didn't single handedly redesign the economy, guys. Okay. They didn't eliminate stable wages, community institutions, or male mentorship, right? They didn't create social media algorithms that reward outrage and division, and they didn't decide that men should navigate these identity shifts alone. Okay. What women did do though is respond to opportunity as any of us would have, right? If there's opportunity, you're probably going to try and take it, okay? And I don't blame women for that at all right? Let me tell you why, okay? Women have Women entering the workplace was not an attack on men. It was a response to an economic necessity and expanded access, okay? Women seeking autonomy wasn't a rejection of men, it was a rejection of dependency. Okay. And women raising their standards, it didn't happen in some kind of vacuum. It happened in a marketplace shaped by technology, visibility, and competition. Okay. Now, there's a uncomfortable truth that doesn't get said enough. Many of these manosphere spaces didn't they don't actually want men to win. Like they don't want us men to win. Okay. They want us angry, bro. They want us confused. They want us angry at women so that we can continue to buy their courses. We can continue to click on their YouTube videos and we can continue to stay dependent on the narrative. Okay. And the easiest way to keep men angry is to convince them that women are the adversary. Okay. But let's look closer for a second. Most women, I promise you, most of these women that, you know, even if they say that they quote unquote hate men and all that stuff, I promise you, bro, they're not plying against us guys. Okay. They're not plying against men. They are navigating the same unstable culture that includes rising costs, cost of living, social pressure, insecurity, and loneliness. That's a big one. Okay. They are responding to incentives the same way that we as men would do. Okay. We are simply adapting. Okay. This ain't just a male thing, it's ain't a women thing. This is a human thing. Okay. We are simply just adapting in this crazy ass economy that America has thrown at us. Okay. Now, conflict arises not because women hate men, okay, but it's because that both genders are reacting to the same broken environment with different tools and different risk. All right. Men are, we are not weak for struggling, okay? And women are not villains for choosing differently, okay? The real work for us men is not domination, it's simply clarity. All right. I'm going to say it one more time. The real work that us men need to be doing is not domination, it is clarity. We need clarity as men, all right? We need clarity about our values, we need clarity about boundaries, we need clarity about what kind of life that actually brings us men fulfillment beyond the validation, beyond the status or revenge narratives, okay? Now, us strong men, we know strong men don't how should I say this? Strong men don't need an enemy to exist, okay? We need direction. All right. And this is a lot of things that we probably get mistaken, of us trying to be, conquerors and blah 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 and all that crazy. Bro, we don't need no enemy. We need direction. All right. And when us men stop seeking women as opponents and objects, and we start seeing these people as autonomous individuals shaped by the same cultural forces, something, you know, when we do that, something changes and accountability will return, growth becomes possible and relationships become more intentional instead of adversarial, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, no, women are not the enemy, guys. A culture that profits from division is, though, and a lack of honest mentorship is, and the refusal to evolve while demanding the world revert backward, that is the real trap. Okay. I'm gonna say it one more time, okay? Because I like the people always refer to like the 50s and all that stuff. Like, hey, we should go back to the 50s. What we need to do is evolve as a as a population, as a community, without demanding us to go all the way back to those times, okay? Because me as a black man, I don't want to go back to the 50s, if you know what I'm saying. But that is the real trap here, okay? Us men and women, we need to evolve without trying to go backwards, okay? Now, we don't rise by blaming women as men, okay? We as men do not rise by blaming women. We rise by mastering ourselves, all right? And that is a truth worth building on. So we as men need to conquer whatever it is we are dealing with within ourselves And when that happens, this world will be a better place. So I'm finna go to bed. It's very late, and I hope you guys have a happy new year. Here's to 2026. This is Parker Birch signing off.